Right now, it's probably too soon to put away the snowblower. In fact, there's snow in the forecast, I know. But it's not too early to get a head start on a greener, better yard. Our next guest has a guide to growing better-looking grass when spring arrives.
I love even just thinking about this. Yeah. Joe Schmid is a turf specialist with David J. Frank Landscape Contract, and we just saw one of those commercials from them just a second ago. He knows grass. And so we're going to talk about it. I think this is just positive because we get to start thinking about spring.
With snow in the forecast, thinking about green grass is definitely a way to go for spring. I mean, we're, what, 17 days away from the official start of spring. We know in Wisconsin, yes. Unfortunately, that's not the normal protocol. But usually April 1st, we get that drive to want to go outside, clean up our lawns, and start making things look nice and pretty. So it's just that time of year where we just want the year to start, the spring.
For sure.
I read this thing about snow mold. I don't even know what that is. Did you know? Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it.
I'm sorry,
I
need to get with it.
It's bad for your grass. I know that.
It's a bad aesthetic type fungal disease. Here's a picture of it. This is a pink snow mold. It's most commonly noticed when your snow banks are starting to recede from the air. It's a fungus that basically lives dormant in your soil until spring type conditions. It doesn't normally kill your lawn unless you have a gray snow mold, which is not common around here. But pink snow mold, if you just get your rake out, just fluff it up a little bit, it'll kind of rejuvenate itself once the thing starts growing.
Okay.
The lawn starts growing for the year.
Okay. So one of the things that you suggest when the snow is gone, you have to treat things like this. But also you talk about, along with spot treatment, you have to do a whole lawn treatment as well.
Correct.
Right?
You want to do usually sometime around mid-April to May 1st, depending on the year, how fast things are warming up, that you want to do a fertilizer application with a little bit of nitrogen, no phosphorus, depending on phosphorus bands in your area, and then a little bit of potassium to kind of get the grass to start absorbing a little bit more water going into it. That little blend will definitely help your lawn kind of start get going for the year. You don't want to go too heavy. If you go too heavy, you're just going to waste your money. So you want to do just a nice little bit just to kind of get it boosting going.
And the services you start with are like the dethatching, the core aeration.
Correct.
Both of those things as well, right?
Correct. Dethatching is a situational type thing for your lawn. A lot of times people will have, here's a perfect example of it. In the lawn, you have your normal green grass. I call this the aerial thatch of your lawn, and then you have your soil thatch. If you have a lot of this real yellow, ugly kind of looking stuff, you can go out and backbreak yourself and rake it all up, make yourself some really nice big piles. If it really is very excessive, you have a service called power dethatching. Basically, it's a motorized lawnmower looking device that can actually go through and bring this up. And a lot of times when people kind of do that initially, they look at their yard going, oh my Lord, that is so much material. But your grass, every individual piece of grass has to fall down to the surface and eventually decomposes. If you have too much of this, your lawn is not very thick. Cleaning it up sometimes will help it get a little thicker. It's sometimes a little bit better color. The area down here is where you'd use like the core aeration. That would be what you'd want to do to kind of help your lawn, for lack of a better phrase, breathe. These are little plugs that you would see here that would be brought up from a core aeration. A lot of times we recommend doing this in the fall because it gets covered by snow. You don't see these little plugs laying across your lawn all winter. So by the time spring rolls around, we'll say Mother Nature is just working, will break those things up and they'll disappear back down. That'll also help break up the different layers of thatch.
What's vole damage? I've never heard of that.
Voles are what you a lot of times see as like, it looks like a large area of vole that we saw before the thatch. A vole is similar to what most people will call a field mouse. A lot of times the voles during the winter months, the ground freezes solid, so these little buggers that typically live underground can't dig through the snow and ice. So at that point they come up to the surface and they kind of live in that thin little layer. Here's the damage that you commonly see. This is actually
snakes should eat those.
Yes, that'd be a great little combination.
It would be a great combination. But with the voles, you typically want to get your lawn mowed as slow as you can into the fall, right before, we'll say, the final inevitable of snow. Because if there's too much area, that area of grass that you think looks so beautiful going into the winter acts as a little cushion that this little vole will dig these nice little channels across your yard. And sometimes it's just a few little channels.
Well, how do you get rid of them? besides gassing them or something like that, which my dad tried with the tractor. He stopped one hole and he put the carbon monoxide in from the tractor and a hose, like Caddyshack.
Yeah, typically most of the times you try to do it as a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
You can put out baits and traps and things like that, but it's a very inexact thing because sometimes you may have it from one year to the next year. It's not always a perennial problem unless you have like a country type setting where the voles would kind of come in from the natural area that you would have.
And quickly just talk to a lot of people weed and feed, do things on their own, but what's really the benefit of hiring experts like you?
That right there.
Yeah, that's looking good.
That is the huge benefit. For a property like this size, a lot of times the homeowner says, man, that's like 4 hours on my Saturday. Or in some cases, like if you have a smaller Whitefish Bay or a Tosa property, you buy a bag of fertilizer. That bag of fertilizer is going to sit in your yard, in your garage for the whole summer because I do one in April, I do a small one again in June, and I do another one in August, and I'm finally getting rid of that bag in October. But so for 4 months, this is sitting in your garage that you can kick and your kids can play with. And it's not fresh. Sometimes if you get a little moisture in there from like you get water from your car, it'll absorb it and become a giant block of garbage, unfortunately, in the end. So sometimes hiring a service, it saves you the time and it'll save you that, we'll say, possible headache of a cleanup of something that you don't know what to get rid of in the end.
I love that idea. And you guys do free estimates too on lawn care, which is great, all throughout our county area. So give them a call now. It's free to get that estimate. It's fun to start thinking spring too. 262-255-4888 or go to davidjfrank.com to find out more about this wonderful service. Get a great looking yard this spring. It'll make you feel good about the change of the season. Great to see you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks,
Joe.